Hey guys, it's Kip from Famous by Friday Pickleball. Got a brand new paddle to review, the new Selkirk LUXX Control Air with Infinigrit. Back in 2023, in October of 2023, Selkirk came out with the original LUXX paddle. I reviewed that late October 2023. The LUXX was a good paddle if you're a control freak, but boy, did you have to supply your own power. Every step you took back from the non-volley zone, the LUXX became a bit more problematic. You had to provide just all the power with this. But if you were just a pure control freak that wanted to get up there and dink all day, this paddle was gold. So Selkirk has come along with the new LUXX and tried to correct a couple of the issues that came with the original LUXX. The first issue, the original LUXX was very slick. You can kind of see it in the light there. Very slick, not much texture, not much spin. So Selkirk has come up with the Infinigrit surface, which they say is 3 times more spin durable than raw carbon fiber. That's a tough task. It's going to have to stay on there for a while. We all know painted on surfaces don't last very long, but they believe it'll last Infinigrit forever and ever, amen, and provide plenty of spin. The other issue, and the glaring issue with the original LUXX, was lack of power. So Selkirk's addressed that. EVA foam in the neck. It is 1 millimeter thinner. This was a 20 millimeter poly core, where the new LUXX is a 19 millimeter polymer core, polymer honeycomb core. They put foam all around, put foam in the neck, and it should provide a little more pop. Both these paddles came with the same fluorite carbon fiber surface. Both of these paddles are very similar, but Selkirk's really tried to correct some of the issues that they had before. This paddle comes in at 8 ounces, swing weight 113, which is light. I said this before, I kind of like it around 120, over 120. 113 is very light, so you can definitely put some weight on here or adjust it to your playing style. Twist weight 6.0, 16.4 inches long by 7.5 inches wide. The grip is 5.35 inches long with a 4¼ inch circumference. Selkirk hopes that this will be an upgrade, and if they can keep the control, which they say they say they've done, keep the control of the original LUXX and add some pop, this paddle could be a lot of fun. Very excited to try this out. Let's take a look at the cores and see how they've upgraded or changed, and they definitely have. We'll take a peek at it now, both cores, and see what they've done, and I'll be right back. All right, here's a quick view of the original Selkirk LUXX. 8 millimeter cells. This was 20 millimeters thick. Has all of the EVA foam around the perimeter. Here's the opening, had it around the opening as well. You can see that the handle was hollow on this paddle. It's the same density as air, nothing in the handle. They're going to correct that with the new LUXX. So let's take a look at all the changes in the new LUXX paddle. All right, guys, here is the new Selkirk LUXX V2, version 2, 2.0, whatever you'd like to call it. This is the new LUXX. You can see that they've gone with the EVA foam in the throat and in the handle for little ways. They didn't go all the way down here into the handle, but they went a little ways. This should add some more support and definitely more flex to give this core a little bit of just a little more power output, with hopefully not destroying the control that the original LUXX had. Pretty much the same standard. They've got the EVA foam all around the entire perimeter, you can see here, and then they've just got the new EVA foam, pretty much the same density as the perimeter foam, to allow for that neck to flex a little bit and throw the ball. You also notice that the opening has changed a little bit. That comes from the Selkirk project paddles. They've changed the opening here in the neck and the throat. That should add for a little more flex as well, and the paddle going through the air a little quicker. Very excited. All right, this is the new core of the Selkirk LUXX with Infinigrit. All right, guys, so you've seen what they've tried to do here. Hopefully it works. Headed out to the courts right now. Hope you're going to be there. We'll try out the new Selkirk LUXX Control Air with Infinigrit. We'll see how this bad boy does. Hopefully it's going to be an improvement. Excited to try it. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, this is the new Selkirk LUXX. This is the version 2 or 2.0, if you will. This is their new LUXX Control Air. All right. Very nice. You expect this to have nice control. Knock that cone off of there. Oh, hit those last two the same exact spot. Do this. Oh, it was right there. Flew it a little bit. Got really good accuracy. So they made a couple of changes to this, give a little more power. I feel guilty. I'm gonna knock this down. Knock this down. All right, let me spin a couple here. I'll watch this ball spin. Very controllable spin. Let me do that again. Oh, it does not have tremendous spin. The ball does stay on there for a moment, but it's not tremendous spin. So not be for a spin enthusiast, I don't think. Try that again. It is controllable spin though. It does have nice bite, but this would not be confused with a spin paddle. Hey guys, back. Just spent the last few weeks getting to know the new Selkirk LUXX Control Air Infinigrit. I believe I talked about the original LUXX in the opening a little bit. It came out in 2023. It was a control paddle. It's Control Air. It's still on here. It was an extreme control paddle. Had great accuracy, control, and consistency. Had very little power and very little spin. Selkirk wanted to add power and spin to the LUXX paddle without changing the accuracy, control, and consistency. Some of that worked, some of it didn't. Let me bounce through the performance characteristics of this paddle. I always start out with power. I'm going to start out with power again. My normal service speeds are right around 50 miles per hour. The service speed on the original LUXX was 45.8. It was not to be confused with a power paddle at all. It was very much a control paddle. The new Lux comes in at 47.8. Still below 50, my normal average. And to be honest, I haven't been up in front of this camera and said anything below 50 in quite some time. It's still below average on power, but they did gain 2 miles an hour. That's pretty good. So the changes they made, they did bump it up a little bit. Now, accuracy, control, and consistency. Those two things always usually go hand in hand. If you have more power, you're going to lose the other. So they did gain 2 miles an hour, but, and there's always a but, the accuracy, control, and consistency suffered. It was not like the Lux of old. The accuracy and control, the consistency was really not good. And I'm going to go to why that is really quick. This paddle has a very, not just a small sweet spot, it's a tiny sweet spot. Very small. So the consistency is all across the board. Performance really suffers when you get outside of that sweet spot. There was a serve that was 52 miles an hour, but I hit it dead red. I mean, just dead red. Anything that wandered out of that just dropped so far. I mean, it went off the table. Just the performance went really downhill. Same with the accuracy, control, and consistency. I'm not sure if what they gained with 2 miles an hour is really worth what they lost. Now, spin. They wanted more spin. The original Lux had absolutely very little spin, very little at all. The Infinigrit did add some spin, and the changes, the EVA foam, all of those changes did add some spin, but do not confuse this with a spin paddle. Spin enthusiasts are not going to love it. It does have spin, but not a tremendous amount. Does the Infinigrit help? Yes. What they did, yes, helps. It does. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last. I always worry about any sort of surface spray, grit, anything like that. Selkirk says it's going to last. I always worry about that. But for the few weeks I've spent with this paddle, it stayed in there, hung in there, did everything very nice. Feedback and feel is very solid, a lot like the original Lux. You can, even though you can tell you've hit out of the sweet spot because the performance suffered, it still doesn't feel harsh. Everything's a pretty good ride, every Selkirk paddle, Invicta paddle, every one, and I played all the way back to amp version. You hit it out here, it's nothing. So same with this. It's dead out there. But feedback feel really good, very soft, very nice touch to it, a lot like the original Lux. It has just a nice little feel, and that's a good thing. Good defense to offense if you get it in the sweet spot. Once again, that's the caveat to all of this. If you put it down there, get the ball where it's supposed to be every time, right there, you will get it back. You'll get it back. And honestly, once you get up the net, this paddle is really quick through the air. You can get it there and push the ball back fairly well. But if you get it outside that area, once again, I know I'm kind of a broken record, but it does affect everything across the board. If you get it outside that really small sweet spot, it just goes downhill. It is customizable at 8.0 ounces. You can put lead tape on here. Now, you can put a bunch of lead tape on here. It is going to drag that sweet spot and make it a little bit bigger. And that does help. And you'll get some more velo, more miles per hour, all of those things. It will help. The swing weight, I think, was right around 113, so that is really light. Once again, I like it right around 120 or a little bit more. You will get some more performance out of this paddle if you do that. Another negative, and I was talking about the performance characteristics of this paddle. There's another negative. This paddle comes in at $280 US. That is a lot for a paddle that, if you go back to looking at the core of the paddle, Wilson has tried this, and the paddle's good. The new Adidas metal bone paddles have the same kind of structural components, trying the same things with the opening and with the weights. They've all tried a little of this, and those paddles exceed this one quite a bit. So $280 is quite pricey as well. I wish I had more good to say about this paddle. I like what Selkirk tried, The original Lux was, it needed kind of a little more pop, but you didn't want to sacrifice the accuracy and control and consistency. And I believe that's, they did. Selkirk kind of lost on that part. I am anxious to hear from you guys. And I almost hate, I always hate doing kind of a negative kind of review. I just really, Selkirk, we are pickable. I'm not sure about this paddle. I really like the last Selkirk a lot. I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave your comments. I'm kind of a little concerned here because this, if you spend a lot of time with it and you've got great game, this might work. This might work a lot. I really like the SLK era so much better, and it's $80 less. I'm a little sad. I had high hopes for this. All right, guys, as always, hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will be back with more very, very soon. It's summer. Get out and play. All right.